皆さん、こんにちは。ようこそ、カムナビ本部へ。
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Karasu here today with Glowplasma. Unfortunately, my friends Calcan and Edo could not make it today. How are you doing, Glow?
I've got to say, it's a little bit of a poorly timed, unfortunately, because, I'm here for Glowplasma. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's just me or if the pause there is a little weird, but either way, happy to be here as normal. I can't wait to talk about some good old Kagurabachi, because, man, did we have an interesting chapter this week.
Absolutely, we did. And not only was it interesting, it also basically confirmed a lot of my theories.
Yeah, you are definitely winning this chapter, and being that there's no trader talk or any of that, I'm definitely losing in all scenarios. But yeah, this chapter is just so interesting going through, and like the second that I read the title of this chapter, which is the Enten, I knew we were about to get something massive, and oh my gosh, something massive did we get? Like,
oh yes, we did.
This chapter is just amazing. I just won't talk about it, you know?
Oh yeah. So to start off, we've got the conversation between Chihiro and Shiba.
Yeah, it's really cool that we're getting more of this when the last time we saw it was chapter 60. And that's honestly just really cool.
I know, it's super cool. Well, I love this. So, we expected that Shiba would have held back a little bit, at least, during this. But no, he didn't hold back at all. He told Chihiro everything.
You know, I mean, Shiba literally just, puts it all on the line here. He's like, yeah, the Shiduchi's power? Yeah, Rokuhira didn't want to mention it, but, it sort of has to do it. He didn't want to share it to you then, so I sort of have to be him to share it to you now. And just everything that happened there. And of course, this is when we know that Chihiro learned about all of this, that we've basically been getting confirmed that Shiba told him about before, about the malediction and all that, sort of talk to Samura. It's really interesting to see, this was that same conversation when it happened, all of the other Enchanted Blades while that happened. And then Chihiro coming to this realization of, oh man, why did my father give me this if he knew what the Enchanted Blades did? It's honestly some pretty heavy stuff.
He said 200,000 lives. ... That's all he could say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
This whole reminder of Kunoshige being we are complicit in the deaths they cause. So
yeah, we just get Chihiro and Samura just clash at Enten and Tobimune, and yeah, this chapter does a really good job of just building up how we see Samura fight now. Because, before it's just been Samura against, hordes and hordes of enemies. If we think back all the way to the Senkotsuji Temple, it was him against, all of the Dot and Seki hired Hashaku hands pretty much coming after him. And it's really interesting to see how he works in this current flow of everything, of, hey, he has his crow feathers scattered about, and whenever he's serious, fighting that singular one-on-one, even if it is somebody else fun, Enchanted Blade or anything like that, I just like seeing how Samura just continues to overwhelm Chihiro at every step of this process. I mean, my boy Chihiro is trying his best. I mean, we see him cloak himself with Nishiki, and it's so brilliantly drawn. And then he just tries to counter, and Samura just comes behind him, of course, teleporting with Crow. And he's just going around doing all of this. It's just really fun to see Chihiro try to react. He can't. He's got to do it 7 times to try to get around, and at the end of the day, he's not winning. Samura has the upper hand.
Now, I do love this whole thing, though, about him being Nishiki flows better. The Enten feels more like an extension of my body than a weapon. You know what I mean?
It's really interesting. It really feels like, I think we've seen with all of the Enchanted Blades, there's one main ability. And I feel like in the beginning of that series for Chihiro's Enchanted Blade, it was really Kuro. We saw Kuro being used super frequently, just that long-range slash attack, and, sometimes that mini Kuro, those mini slashes, and all of that various stuff, right? And
And then
Akka
they
has
filled up the
always sort of
studio
been,
with it.
I'm sorry?
Oh, when he like cut off Hirohito's arms, he filled up the play studio with Kuro as well.
Yeah, I definitely forgot about that. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really remember that fight between him and Hirohiko in the ether, but yeah, I mean, he does that. He uses Kuro for all this stuff. He uses Akka slowly, building up to the whole idea of like, oh yeah, I can copy people's powers, but we don't really know how it fully works. Because like he does it with the Dharma Sorcerer guy, and he does it with Hyuki's stuff. And did he use it with Sojo's mayor or something like that?
He did. He used it with Sojo's May so that he could work as a lightning rod.
Yeah, and so it's like he continues to use Akka, but like very sparingly. And now it feels like in the current story, we are just getting a massive focus on how Nishiki augments Chihiro, which is honestly really cool to like. I mean, it seems like Samura's main power is like, oh yeah, he has the whole idea of Suzaku. Like that is his big power at the end of the day. Like Al and Crow are like other supports, but Suzaku is the big one. Out of Cloud Gouger, we had May, which was the big lightning attack, and then Yui, and I don't remember what the other one was.
It was Ko.
Ko. Yeah. So it's like
We also had Yui Ketsu as well, which was like a totally different version of Yui. Like we only saw once.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of like based off of Yui still. Like Chihiro can use his Nishiki in like in different ways, and like whole thing of like Kuro slash, right? So
Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was actually about to end my point there. Just like it's really interesting how all of these blades have like one predominant like theme with them, and then one main power that seems to be the main focus of the character. And it really seems like how Chihiro is just going to be falling down that Nishiki rabbit hole of like, oh yeah, augmenting himself with this, making himself stronger, being able to perceive the world around him better. Of course, in the way to like, as we'll learn, stop the blades.
Now, I will say, so like earlier in the series, when Chihiro would use Nishiki, like, you would always see the little like cloak of Nishiki around him, And
Yeah.
it was drawn very lightly, it wasn't like this incredible design that we see now where Nishiki literally emanates off of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
it's
can
like
see it.
yeah,
You
it's
can
like
see it
behind
in
his
him, like
eyes,
in
in
the
his cloak, yeah, on his sword. Yeah, definitely
It's coming
design
off
has
his
evolved.
ears. Yes, it's coming off of his ears too. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
Like,
it is, yeah.
it's so cool. Well, and something that a lot of people thought that when Chihiro teleported his sword in the end of the chapter, that it was like Akka copying Crow. But that was a Kuro fish. That wasn't Akka. That was
Yeah.
Kuro. And this is incredible. This kind of is where I'm going with like it is kind of starting to prove one of my earlier theories that I've had. I don't think I've ever stated it publicly, but I have in a public forum on Reddit a few times, more than a few times, is that Enten and all the other Enchanted Blades are literally connected. Maybe not by the lifelong contracts, but by the true realm, as they say.
I mean, I definitely know that you've brought up this theory to us, at least in our like meeting chat that we use to like schedule this thing and all of that. I know you definitely brought that up before here, so I'm pretty sure you brought it up on the podcast at some point. Don't ask me. No, I think because you have had the whole idea of like the how Chihiro's May was like black and like it worked its way in there. So I think you definitely brought it up on the podcast.
Right, and I know that specific detail was very important because why else would focus on or even draw a panel with Yura saying black lightning? You know what I mean? Why else? If it wasn't important. Because Yura is one of the most cold, calculated people in the series. It had to have been important.
And speaking of like Sojo and all of that stuff, we're going to skip ahead a few pages, but I love how like Samura just starts to like make fun of or not just like poke at the previous user of Cloud Gougers, like, hey, whoever's wielding the Enchanted Blade must have been some really puny thug to break it, pretty much. And of course we know that it's about to like bite Samura in the butt for saying that, as what the whole goal
Yes.
is for Toby Moon and how it's going to go by the wayside. But I do find that really, really funny to be like, oh yeah, he's just making fun of Sojo. And it's honestly a little funny how Chihiro sort of like looks at this as like, hey, Sojo's no slouch, you know, like he was a serious guy. And I do find that really funny. It's like just the almost camaraderie that was built between the battle of Sojo and Chihiro.
Sojo was not a slouch at all, and here's that's just the thing. Like, Samura is wrong to say that. He is incredibly wrong to say that. I mean,
Arguably, Sojo is not on the level of Samura, Aruha, or any of the other original bears.
no,
And I'm
but
sure we
he
can
did
have a
reach-
conversation about like, oh yeah, does Chihiro with a regular sword beat Sojo with a regular sword, right? I don't want to have that conversation. I don't know the answer. With all the feats in the current series and all of that various stuff. But it's like Chihiro particularly isn't up to this level that Samura is either. So I sort of feel like Chihiro sort of takes that as like a sort of jab at himself also, because on anything, he also is the one to fully break Cloud Gouger at the end of the day, you know?
like Shiba said, it wasn't only Sojo's failure, but also Chihiro's success.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say real quick though, I have to defend my boy Sojo a little bit, because the reason that I have to defend him is that there is lots of evidence to say that he was a real G. Okay, first off, he got to Chihiro's level with an Enchanted Blade that took Chihiro 3 years to achieve. He did it in a week, literally in a week. So yeah, he may not have been at the other Enchanted Blade users' level of combat experience or whatever, but he was getting there, and he would have gotten there for sure if he survived. Now let's see. What else?
We have got to see more Sojo eventually. Like,
yeah.
that can't be all from him. Like, I know that he's like pseudo dead pretty much right now. Like, he got all of the what's it called, the dot and Seki holes pretty much in him and all of that. But like, Sojo can't be gone, man. I mean, we still have this backstory with the Sword Saint, presumably. Like, there's still more Sojo that we need to see.
Now, the other thing I was going to say is that Kaguri, a tried and true swordsman, it's clear he has high respect for Sojo, to the point where he's even taking his advice about, like becoming one with the blade, like learning it, listening to it. You know what I mean? Like, he listened to and respected Sojo's advice, and he is a swordsman. So that alone should say enough about Sojo's prowess, just as
I guess
combatant.
I never realized the sort of like duality between both Sojo and Kugiri. I guess I never sort of put that together.
No, I think I'm almost positive that they were friends.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. Like, just
Right,
in
because, like,
general,
why
it would make sense.
Yeah, like, why else really really have so much respect for Sojo? You know what I mean? Like, Sojo is just some underground thug, honestly.
Yeah, he's just this weird guy.
He's just this weird guy who loves death and destruction. Like, what?
I mean, I love my fair share of death and destruction too, you know? It's like...
Yeah, you need a little bit of it. Just
exactly.
A little bit. Yeah,
Nobody has a bad time.
Right. The universe always seems to lean towards entropy, am I right?
Yeah. But,
Okay,
where were
so I
we?
love this.
We're talking about Sojo.
Well, so I love this part here. We're on page 4, I believe. So
I've been on page 5 and 6 this entire time.
Page 4 is incredibly deep. Like, I love the cinematic. Like, it's like reading a movie, dude. Because there's a saying from the Seitei War that's fitting. When blackbirds flock, death is nigh. It's obvious where that saying came from. Like that. And then you just see Samura, he's like, show me. What on earth would you want to show me? Like,
Yeah, and the way it's just like portrayed is like just to show me isn't such a bigger text bubble than the what on earth do you want to show me. And you just see all of the feathers raining down as like Chihiro and Samura are standing on opposite ends of this building. Like it just looks cool, man. I mean,
Well,
the
and
way that the sky is also portrayed in the background, and of course, like the light is really still new for everybody around here, right? I mean, Al got turned off all of like at maximum like 10 minutes ago.
5, 10 minutes ago, yeah,
Yeah, because it's
exactly.
like he descends from the sky to where Chiro and Yori are on the roof of the building. He's like, oh no, this guy Hirohiko, let me go stop him whenever the three of them all draw their blades. And then it's like, okay, now he and Chihiro have all this stuff to deal with. And it's the same thing at the, what's it called, area, the Kamunabi Headquarters, because like, oh yes, the blade, or the owl got lifted. Everybody heads down to the to start the raid, and the raid hasn't been going on for long. And Hawkery does all this stuff. He almost gets murdered like 4 times. Kudo allegedly dies. So it's like,
No, he did. We know he did. He definitely did.
all right, page number 5.
Yeah. Let's get off that topic before we have that argument again.
Yeah. And it's the whole idea of Chihiro being like, yeah, I know of a way to help stop the malediction. And Summer's like, yeah, you're lying. And Chihiro's like, yeah, about that. We just destroy it. And Summer's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, we have tried too many times, and we've literally done everything we could think of, but we can't even scratch it. And of course,
goes, I heard you. He even goes, I heard you broke Corregimo, but still, like, you're not breaking it. You're not breaking.
I do like how he sort of points out, like, and that must have been due to Sojo's power, and that's where he sort of brings it in, because, like, the more spirit energy you pour into it, the stronger it is. And we know that the Sword Saint is presumably this really, really strong guy, so it is very interesting to be like, oh, and that's why he's blaming Sojo for breaking the blade, is for that simple reason of, like, yeah, he didn't power it up enough. He didn't get it up to, like, its high-tier durability stats.
No, well, see, this other whole thing is like, he's like, we're talking about a man they call the Sword Master, and this is Kuneshige Rokuhira Shinuchi. I mean, have I explained to you what Shinuchi means in Japanese?
Yes, I know the term from the Rakugo manga. Akane Banashi is also running in Jump right now, but it's pretty much just like the peak, the pinnacle, the thing at the top, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So a Shinuchi is a swordsmith's best blade that they've ever made. It's their magnum opus, essentially.
To get a little bit off topic real quick, I find it really funny how everybody in this series calls it the Shinuchi and not the Magatsumi. I'm pretty sure just because of, like, yeah, when this blade has, like, taken that many lives and all that very stuff, like, nobody wants to actively sit here and call it the name of the sword, pretty like the Magatsumi. Like, I'm pretty sure it holds like a extremely negative connotation in almost every single way. But it's just really funny. I'm sorry?
I said it's like saying Voldemort.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the thing that should not be named at all. It's honestly the best, like, allegory I've sort of heard for it. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll just call it this other thing instead that also works for Name of the Sword, but will confuse everybody else whenever they're reading this in manga format.
Right. Well,
like, I know that I did. Like, I remember whenever I first started covering this series, it was right after, of course, the end of the Rakuzachi arc, right? And of course, Kiora in that arc called it the Magatsumi, right? But then everybody else really calls it the Shinuchi as all of this stuff goes on. And I remember reviewing those first 2 chapters where, like, the Shinuchi was the big debate whenever Chihiro is trying to join up with the Kabanagi. And I'm reading it and I'm like, why do they keep calling it the Shinuchi? Like, is there a different blade to the Shinuchi but also the Magatsumi? Like, I was so confused for a good long while until I finally, like, figured out, like, oh, they're just talking about the same thing, like...
Yeah, so it's just the name of the blade.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on, guys, like, you guys could have done better, you know?
I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but the translation of Magatsumi is so on the nose. Like, It's like literally like taking a brick to the nose. It's like it's just there.
I'm almost certain we have, but
thin.
just like re-enlighten me on what it means.
Curved sin.
Yes, and now that you say that,
Or like-
I 100% remember that you said that before.
Or like captured guilt, or like curved guilt, or something along those lines. Like each kanji has like multiple different meanings, but the first one's like curved, captured, something like calamitous. You know what I mean? And then there's like guilt, sin, just something along those lines. It was a little bit of a hard translation when I first read it, actually. Because I took one look at it and I was like, Magatsumi. It's like, that sounds evil. You know what I mean? Like, it just sounded evil because I play Shin Megami Tensei.
Pizza sword?
And-
I don't think that's the right translation for this thing.
I don't know. I think it's pretty on the nose, man.
Yeah, no,
Pretty on the nose.
curved sin. You just read that and you're like, yeah, I think this guy's definitely a villain. Like,
Oh, he's definitely. Well, I love how even the Rakugo version, like, even in terms of Rakugo, the word Shinichi still makes sense for, like, him being a final villain.
oh yeah,
You know
I
what I
mean, I don't know if you read Akane Banashi, the Rakugo manga, which anybody
I've never read Akane Banashi, but I have seen the crossover Shonen Jump covers and stuff, and, like, the crossover work done between Kagurabachi and Akane Banashi.
Yeah, those
And-
people who think it's really funny to make those two team up, which I would admit,
But, like,
it's extremely funny. Continue doing
But
it,
also-
please. It gives me life.
it's also ironic at the same time because, like, I don't think any of these people have any idea how relevant the word Shinichi in Akane Banashi is to Kagurabachi. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
You know what I mean? I don't think any of these people understand the relevance that they created. I think they just did it on accident, and none of them know how well it works.
it is just really fun, though. I will say that.
Oh, here.
Let me
we're
say
at
this.
part here.
Read Akane Banashi. It's very, very good. It legitimately
what?
had the most suspenseful beginning of any manga I have ever read before. Like,
You know what? I'll
those
read it.
first 20-something chapters literally are some of the best writing, and if you just read until that point and realize it's not my thing, totally fine. Just still give it a chance. It's an excellent.
I'll give it a chance today. Is there an anime for it yet?
I don't know. It's one of those that Shonen Jump just like hasn't given an anime to yet. It's like, I don't know why. It's like 160 something chapters in. Crank, it's like 164 or 63 chapters in right now. And yeah, there's just no anime announcement. Just
Dude, it would be spectacular if Akane Banashi and Kagurabachi got the announcement at the same time.
well,
Imagine that.
I don't know if you know this. This is really going deep into the nose of like Shonen Jump stuff, which I'm already very deep into the nose of. But there's the whole idea that every single season since the debut of like some other anime, we have had a weekly Shonen Jump adaptation every single season. Whether it's like a season 2 or something else, like we had a Blue Box sometime last year, the Elusive Samurai, and so far this year we've had a Witch Watch and series like this. And I forget what we were getting
Blue
this
Box.
season, but there's just like we've had continuous adaptations, and I feel like that's just good for Jump in general, even if like adaptations like Witch Watch aren't doing the best for them. It's still nice to have. Like, we're still getting Dr. Stone stuff. Of course, the Bleach 1000-year Blood War anime is still coming out. So,
Hey, Dr. Stone is awesome. I fucking love Dr. Stone, dude.
oh, it's such a fun series, and the final season of the anime I think is actually coming up pretty soon.
Yep. So they just finished this whole, like, they just finished the first 12 episodes of season 4. I think the first 4.
Yeah, and
And-
that's right. Season 4 is going to be 3 cours because they're just wrapping up the series all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, because they have to do. So they just finished the kidnapping arc where they kidnapped Dr. Zeno. I don't know if you know anything about the Stone. Should I stop? before
No, no,
I
no,
spoil
no.
it.
I've read the entire series. For a time, it was my
Okay, me
favorite
too.
manga series of all time. Yo, yeah, I own every
Me
single
too.
volume. Yes, I know Doctor Stone.
Okay, cool. So yeah, spoiler alert to any listeners right now. Okay, so
I'm not going to put a time code on screen of when it's done. So just, I don't know, guess.
Oh shit. Okay, so I'll just name the timestamp. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, or just like Doctor Stone spoilers or something like that.
Yeah. So the first 12 episodes are them finishing up kidnapping Dr. Zeno, and I think the second core is going to be the chase through
South America.
South America. It might even include the war where everyone gets turned to stone and Suika gets revived or whatever. And then I think
Well,
the
it's
third
got to,
core,
because that's like volume 22, and then they've got
yeah,
like 4 left after that. So unless you're
yeah,
doing
and then
like I know the team that produces Doctor Stone. They do a fine job, but I can definitely see, like, they don't skip on like cutting any material. And it'd really suck if they cut like a few of the like final moments of Doctor Stone. So I
I know,
easily
especially like
see
the
them.
time travel stuff. Like if they cut the time travel stuff, I'll be kind of mad.
Yeah, and it's like I definitely get the whole idea of like, yeah, you're only going to do what's in the original manga, and then you can adapt like the Saint Elmo's Fire chapter and the terraforming chapter, and then
Right.
the like 4D science Byakuya stuff later, right? If you want
Yeah.
to make that into like a movie or just like a special OVA here in like 2 or 3 years, but you at least need to finish off like the main portion of the series, and it's like, I have
Yeah.
a feeling they're only going to give it 12 episodes. So,
Because I don't know if you remember, like when they initially left South America and they recruited Dr. Zeno or whatever to save the rest of the world, they only spent about a chapter or two in each country. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's definitely. I know we're definitely getting on like a Dr. Stone a little off topic now, but I feel like this is
Truly.
only something that me and you can do on this podcast, and everybody else would just be sitting there like crickets. But,
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they know Dr. Stone. Maybe they
yeah.
don't.
But it's one of
Find
those
out.
things to where I definitely think that the beginning of Doctor Stone is definitely the best part of that series, where it's
Oh, for
Senku
sure.
trying to figure out what's going on in this weird, wacky world where everybody's been turned to stone, meeting Kohaku, all of the other people of the Fisher Village, and just
Kohaku's a gem, by the way. I love Kohaku. She's a gem. Gem of a
get the
character.
pun. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Doesn't Kohaku
Yeah.
mean like amber in Japanese, or is I'm just wrong?
I think Kohaku is Amber.
Is Haku?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
I know because of Doctor Stone stuff, I ended up naming a D&D character who is like fully made out of granite kakugan, which is what granite is in Japanese.
Yeah,
And
Kohaku means Amber.
I'm pretty sure because of that Kohaku meant amber. Yes. Okay, good to
Yes,
know. I'm
it
not
does.
that stupid. But yeah, it's just whenever that whole all the grand bout stuff in the beginning of the series. And then
Oh, I love that.
and then it's always good like going into Stone Wars, building up, moving more outside. And
It was just an incredibly paced series, I think.
oh yeah,
You know-
my
you know
favorite.
what I mean?
What is your favorite arc of Doctor Stone, Karasu? Let's just figure this out real quick.
Okay, my favorite arc of Dr. Stone, I think. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you in the manga, and then I'll tell you in the anime. So my favorite arc in the manga is the arc of the 7 years where Suika is trying to figure out how to create the revival fluid in South America.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
And then my favorite arc in the anime is the Treasure Island arc, and only because of the end where they set off fireworks and it's like really emotional and stuff. I really like it when an anime or a manga series can bring me to tears. You know what I mean? And that is one thing that did, for sure, was when they lit off the fireworks. And Gen was like, I think Gen said something along the lines of, back in our time, these were a symbol of hope, or something like that. I'm about to tear up now thinking about it.
Yeah, I will say, those two arcs have never been like my favorite, but just knowing those moments, like, yeah, it still gets me at the end of the day. Like, Doctor Stone is just a brilliantly written series. Like, my favorite arc is actually shipbuilding. that comes right after. It's just everything involved with that. We meet Francois, we meet Ryusei, and everybody has to love Ryusei a little bit. Like, he's just a funny guy.
He's probably one of my favorite characters. I think he's like top 3 for me for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it's just like really fun getting to know all of those guys, and then just like seeing like, oh yeah, all the stuff with the boar, finding the oil fields, seeing how Ryusei corrupts everything, and everybody's like, oh no, whenever Tsukasa wakes back up, this is going to be really bad between the two of them, and then it never really is.
No, I know. Sufasa's so funny though. I love those scenes where like he's like, it's okay, it'll be fine, and then he's like really creepy, and everyone's like, okay, he says it'll be fine.
Yeah, or the times where like, he just wakes up and he's like, all right, Senku, you've woken me up after so long. What are we getting ready to do? And Senku's like, oh yeah, we're going to the moon, my man. And Tsukasa, he like keeps that like stonish face of like, oh, please explain to me more. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about.
No, he does crack, I think, in the anime though.
I think he also cracked in a manga. It's just like a panel drawn by Bachi. It's really funny of him just being like so stoked, and then he's just like, what? Like, I'm sorry, the moon? Yeah. We're going to find who?
Before we get back on topic, have you read their new manga that they just started writing?
Who, Bachi or Inagaki? Because I know Bachi is currently doing Martial King.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird series for sure. Cause it's like steampunk Old West. You pretty much treat katanas as if they're revolvers, and just seeing how your main character of Jimu, I am not kidding, that is his name, how he sort of works into all of this stuff. It's honestly a little weird, but I'm still reading all the chapters. I'm still trying to rock with it, you know? But I don't know, it's one of those weird ones. You can definitely tell that it's written just by Bachi and not by like Inagaki or somebody else.
Gotcha.
And also Inagaki, I think he's currently working on the manga Trillion Game, which just got an anime adaptation a few seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice.
But nice. I own a singular volume of that, and I want to read more, I just haven't done it yet. So, but I know both of them are working on separate manga right now, and I mean, I know the Trillion Game is very successful, and it's just going to see how the first volume sales do for Martial King to see if it does particularly well.
Gotcha.
But I think we need to get back on topic now.
Yeah, I think we've spent enough time spinning off. All right, so I'm looking at this panel right now of that I already described earlier of the Nishiki emanating off of Chihiro with like all the water bubbles around him. Said the sword feels deeply integrated with my hand. My Nishiki flows more lightly and naturally than before.
If Cal were here, I don't know what she'd want to say about this panel. I mean, we all know what she would say, you know, but it's one of those things where we're going to let her say it.
You know what? That's just the Calcan difference, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, man. And we're missing Edo, too. It sucks.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, they'll be here next week. It was just bad timing on half of the members' parts.
Yes, I think we could all do a little better here.
Yeah.
Especially me.
But then we get into the main part of like Chihiro getting ready to face off against Samura, and then Samura just teleporting behind him with the crow. It, like I mentioned earlier, it's just really fun to see.
Dude, I love these speed lines that Hokazono has drawn with Toby Mune. Like you can almost feel how fast Samura is swinging his sword here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. But Chihiro's still fast enough to turn around and counter.
And then the next page, it's like, oh yeah, we see the reverse shot of that, where instead of like you're seeing both Chihiro and Samura's backs, you see them face on and how it looks in the moment, and Chihiro being like swinging his sword, quoted to Nishiki, and he's like, oh no, this isn't right. And he turns around and he fires off a Kuro, but it doesn't really work because Samura just like teleports and just like keeps countering. Like, at least to me, it doesn't seem like there's like a cooldown on Samura's ability to teleport. It's like once he starts, he keeps going, which is pretty cool.
That Kuro was so sick though, because he basically used it the same way Hakura used Iso to avoid the tree.
Yeah. And like
Which
just
was like,
blow himself back.
which is like, that's a new use for that move that we've never seen before.
And who knows, like this could be directly inspired by Haku's on Chihiro's end, right?
Right. We don't
Well,
know.
I don't think that Chihiro was
Chihiro's seen
there
him
whenever
use
Haku did that, but
I don't think he's even seen him use Iso in general. You know what I mean?
yeah, that is a
And
very good
then-
point.
And then we have the scene right next to it. You called it the last episode, bro. Samura just teleporting all around him constantly, trying to psych him out. You called that shit.
I did.
You did. You straight up called it. You were like, it's going to be a battle with Samura teleporting around Chihiro and Chihiro being able to block him. And it's going to be a war of attrition, basically.
Now that you say that, this sort of comes back to me, but I don't remember saying that at all, and that's really funny to me. But yeah, and then it's the whole idea of where Chihiro goes to swing his sword at Samura, and Samura disappears, but the blade stays there, or only the blade teleports over, right? And Samura stays behind him, reaches behind him for the feather. The blade transfers into his hand, and he swings out of Tobi Mune on Chihiro. And Chihiro's like, oh yeah, I figured out your movement too now. And as, of course, we'll see later in this chapter, in like 5 pages, the whole idea of Chihiro being able to teleport his blade to him also. But it's just really cool how this entire battle is portrayed. It's like, Samura's just swinging around, and Chihiro's having to figure out all of the movement. And we're just seeing all these new moves that Samura throws in. It's such a cool way to see this battle, and I know we often say it, but whenever this gets animated, man.
Oh, dude. Hokazono's making it sweet and easy for the animators because he's basically doing his manga like a storyboard. You know what I mean?
It's going to be so cool, man.
Dude, they could literally animate the panels one for one, and it will probably make anime of the century. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's going to be. It's going to be so cool.
It's set up and paced so perfectly that it's almost episodic too. So it's like you can tell he drew it with an anime in mind. You know what I mean? He knew. He fucking knew when he made this series. He had to have known. There's no way he didn't know that he was basically making an anime on paper. No way he didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I definitely think Hokazono's style has evolved into this approach of all this action and the way it's definitely portrayed, because, like, this is portrayed so much better than, like, the original battle between Sojo and Chihiro. Not that battle is, like, portrayed poorly at all, but I definitely think it's more of just Hokazono's style evolving over time, and less of, like, oh yeah, I need to draw this in a way it's easy for animators to do it. I think Hokazono is just drawing the manga he wants, and this is just how it comes out of his pen and onto his paper, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, though, I don't know. I think he's always been incredible at drawing action. I think action...
Oh, no, for sure. He's been very good at it.
From day one, action has been his specialty. And I mean, like, shit, if you remember, I don't think he ever reused assets until, like, probably chapter 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good little while. It wasn't during the Rokuhira arc, but it was pretty much Sword Bear Assassination arc forward.
So that means pretty much that means every single thing, all of those beautiful double spreads and all of those wonderful color pages and all of that was all by hand. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have any help. He probably didn't reuse any assets at all. You know, maybe just manga panels, but that's like, he's an incredible artist, and he's been so good at action since day one. It's been his niche. I think he, in my personal opinion, took over the action genre of manga completely. Like, the hands down probably has the best action manga out. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with you there because I haven't read most of the action manga out, to be completely honest with you. And yeah, I love Kagurabachi. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it right now if I didn't love the series, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think
You don't
he
have the material to
necessarily.
make the
Yeah,
corporation.
I also don't think that he's redefined the action genre at all. I think he's just sort of pulling his punches and like writing a very well written story with really cool action that we're all just jiving with. But
I
yeah,
think
really
he's
on that point of
definitely-
contention, I don't have anything else to say for the main fact of like, yeah, I'm not probably going to ever say it's the best written manga of all time because it probably won't be, right? There's probably going to be
No,
things
I
that
wouldn't
people
say
don't
that
like.
by any means.
But at the end of the day, it's like in that same vein, I don't think it'll ever be like the best action manga or one redefine it. Like it's good, but I don't know if I'd ever say it sort of like how you are. But I don't.
Well, yeah. So I guess like my opinion goes as follows: it's not the best manga of all time to me. That slot falls to D Gray, man. Love you, Katsura Hoshino. But I will say, to me, it is the best action manga, and it, in my personal opinion, in my humble opinion, it is redefining in some very old, some very old tropes that have been used since the beginning of storytelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is taking those very old, very archaic story tropes and kind of redefining them in a way with a story that's just incredible.
And Kagurabachi is pretty good, pretty incredible.
Yeah, like it's not just your standard revenge story. You know what I mean? Like that's what everyone thought it was gonna be, but no, it's on to something.
Yeah,
We can
it's
say
slowly
that.
been evolving into something better.
No, okay, I guess we can get back to talking about it. This kick that Samura gave to Chihiro that made him fly like a meteor into a pool below was cold as hell.
And of course, like this makes Chihiro lose the blade and make it sort of cling into the ground right next to Samura. And I love the next moment where Samura is just like, "Oh, why is my blade sort of like vibrating and like ringing out almost? Like this doesn't seem right." And of course, we understand here in a second what all this going on is, but it's pretty cool to see.
Right, he's like, "What just happened?" It's you can see his hands shaking, and they've got the zing sound happening. I'm like, yeah, no, it's pretty sick. And then you see Chihiro, he's sinking in the water, and then we get some exposition about the blades, which is really important information. This information right here specifically made me think my theory is pretty much confirmed. So when Kunishige Rokuhira forged the Enchanted Blades, he didn't craft their powers specifically, only their general intended purpose: to kill or to protect. The original 6 swords were intended as instruments of war to defeat the enemy. So he did not specifically craft their powers, just their intended purpose, it's clear that's what he did with Enten. This is why I am almost positive that all the other blades are able to tap into Enten slightly, hence the black lightning. And also why I believe that Enten is able to pseudo copy the other blade's abilities. Not because it's actually copying the other blade's abilities, but it's a combination of Chihiro using his good eyes and his ability to manipulate spirit energy damn near freely now to kind of copy the motions of the spirit energy to recreate the sorcery in a way. So it looks like he's almost kind of like a Yuta Okotsu kind of character. Not quite. He's a completely different character, but like it's almost seeming like kind of similar to that in a way.
I mean, it definitely makes sense. Like he's going around, collected all the abilities of the swords to be able to use against the other swords to beat those other swords. I mean, it's a really cool thing. I also remember seeing a take online that was like, at the end of the day, Chihiro may go through and like destroy all of the other enchanted blades, but like, I don't think the story's going to be over until Enten is also destroyed, which is where somebody was like, and that's where somebody like Hyuki can come in, where it's a character who doesn't have an enchanted blade, and being that we know their high power level, it could be the thing that could overwhelm Enten and actually break it at the end of the day, which I think is pretty cool.
No, I totally think that if Miyuki were to use like her full power, she would definitely be able to destroy Enten.
I mean,
Although
right
my-
now, the only thing that we see her used is like a rib and maybe something else. Like,
Yeah,
we have
she was
not
going-
seen her use much at all. And it's like, yeah, there's so much more out there. Like,
he was going to use Spinal Column, but we never got to see it. I'm almost positive we will see that eventually.
oh, we will. I mean,
Well, did you
Hyuki's
know her
an
power-
insane power feat, and like, yeah, she's got an entire. I can't wait till she just like pulls out the whole skeleton at once and starts using it. That's going to be awesome.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, do you know her powers are based off of that one painting, right?
I didn't know they're based off a painting.
I'll send you a picture of the painting so that way when you're editing the video, throw it up for a second so that the audience can see as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just
it'll be,
yeah, just send it to me after recording, and I'll get a good look at it.
yeah. It's actually really cool. It's that one painting of like the big giant skeleton yokai. It's like kind of just like hanging out and with people there, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Just chilling.
Yeah, I love this fucking panel of Chihiro falling through the pond or whatever, and then like he's like transported back to the past, and you can see him and his father creating Enten. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and like we never had confirmation that Chihiro actually had anything to do with Enten or work on it, right? And I mean, even
Until now.
Shiba's like, hey, the seventh sword is different. Like, it was the only time Rokuhira's career as a master swordsmith that he co-created a sword with someone, and we understand that's Chihiro. And Chihiro's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't do anything though. I just did what my father told me to do. But it's like, that
Right.
doesn't matter. That was still enough for Chihiro to have an impact. And just the way that Chihiro looks on this panel, where he's like, I only followed what he said pretty much. The way he's
No,
like
this
looking
isn't-
to the ground, all the scars on his face. Oh, it just gets me,
Yeah.
man.
Well, see, this is a very interesting mistranslation too, and this is one they haven't corrected yet. So, when he says all I did was follow what he said, in the Japanese, when I read it, that's not what he said at all. What he said was, all I did was strike the hammer where he told me. So they actually mistranslated that, which is kind of funny. But I mean, it still fits, it still works.
No, it still fits, and definitely what Viz tends to do that I found is they tend to make it to where it makes a lot more sense in a way. And yeah, the whole idea of like, I still strike the hammer as he told me to, they would have a hard time figuring that in all of these small word bubbles that we get here. I mean, it's definitely possible, don't get me wrong. But
Right.
just, it's one of those things where Viz knows what they're doing, and like, yeah, sometimes they mess up with like the whole idea of the Hibiki room and calling Hyuki Hibiki because of that, right?
Right.
It's something that they just occasionally mess up on. And I mean, I know there was the big deal whenever the Nah I'd Win panel in Jujutsu Kaisen, whenever it first
Oh
came
my
out.
God.
And I know that was a
Malevolent
bad translation scenario, and I know that a lot of people do not like the guy who did that.
No, he was terrible.
I don't know anything about the guy really. I'm sure I've read plenty of other manga done by him, and I've never cared, right? But it's one of those things to where, yeah,
I mean, also
that-
the way Gege would use kanji is also very like archaic, though. Like he would use kanji and other words and stuff that like the type of shit like that hasn't been used regularly for 200 years. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't blame the guy for having trouble translating some of it.
yeah, and
Like, Malevolent Kitchen was hilarious, though. Let's be real, and it
Yeah.
ended up kind of being true, anyways.
yeah, I didn't know that was something that came from the original stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. When Malevolent Shrine was first translated in both the manga and the anime, somehow they messed it up. It got translated as Malevolent Kitchen.
Oh, I thought that was just a joke. That I didn't realize that had any like previous bias or anything. That's really funny.
No, yeah, that actually happened, bro. And then we'll come to find out at the very end of the fucking manga that's actually relevant, and Sukuna's powers work like a kitchen.
They do.
Yeah. He's got
Um,
he's got cleave and dismantle. He's got to chop up the food, and then after he's cleaved and dismantled the food, he has to turn on the furnace, aka the fire arrow.
he uses all of, like what, one time.
Right. Or I think he used it twice, maybe 3 times even, but I think that's yeah. I think that's like the only, because like he uses it twice, but then the third, no, yeah, he only uses it twice, and the second time it's useless because Toto teleports everyone out of there, which is one of those fibrous slaps as a hand now.
Yeah, I mean, either way, getting back to the whole thing of like the translation, I mean, it's fine. Like, all I did is follow what he said. I still, like, as somebody who did not know the original Japanese, I still think that that sounds really cool and all of that. But I also do get the idea of like, yeah, I just hit the hammer where he told me to, and that also just that does fit really well. So
Yeah, I almost feel the hammer one fits a little better, but usually Kagurabachi's translators are pretty good about finding something. Because like Japanese can be really hard because you'll have 2 kanji in a sentence that'll mean, 4 different things each kanji, and you have to sit there and decipher what each kanji means, and then you're like, oh, well, because like with just an example with Kudo's powers, when he said warrior's path, we're assuming that was his innate sorcery still. That my first guess would not have been warrior's path. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It because like one of his kanji means something like a gentleman or a scholar, and then another something along the lines of like um, to be clear, to be transparent, to be open, stuff like that, or to pass through something. So like those meanings, warrior's path is not something I would have come up with off my head. You know what I mean? But it fits. It fits. I don't know. They're pretty good about it.
I mean, now that you're mentioning that, I sort of want to stay on the topic now because one of my favorite translators is David Ellerin. They worked on series such as Undead Unluck, Kaiju Number 8, and they're currently doing a bunch of other Jump manga. I don't know what they're on specific they're doing right now, being that the 2 examples that I just had are series that have ended or are ending like next week. So, yeah, not the best example there. But it's one of those things to where in Undead Unluck, there is the whole idea of the power system is like reversal of something standard, like untruth. It's like he makes you tell the opposite of what you're believing and it makes you act a different way. And I know there's a character in there called named Baxter, like this little weird bunny person, and they only show up like once or twice. But it's the whole idea of whenever they first show up, like he put in the effort to try to figure out what it was and using all the context that I had to give them a name, and he called their power Unback. And eventually, there was a few different options that he could go with. At the end of the day, that was the one that was the most correct at the end of the day, just because he put into work and tried to figure out most of what Tezuka Tamanka was trying to invoke with that whole idea of back. And at the end of the day, he did it. He made the correct translation choice. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that can be really hard to do with Japanese, and some people are just have more time and are better at it when they don't have a bunch of other series like John Weary had in his hands. Because I mean, he did a lot of manga. So
Yeah. And I love the Japanese language, especially when you translate to the English language. Like with stuff with like music and manga and stuff like that is super cool because like English and Japanese, English is one of the few languages that has synonyms and antonyms. You know what I mean? So like we're one of the few languages where like you can have 30 or 40 different words that all mean the same thing. And so when you're translating from Japanese to English, you have so many options to make things flow so well and sound so good. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that's just one of the things I love. Like I do like though how they're not translating the names of the swords for the most part, except for like Cloud Gouger, because that one was pretty easy.
And also, I feel like Cloud Gouger was one of those like first few, and they didn't really know how the series was going to be doing then. And it's
Right.
one of those things where I'm sure if they could go back now, they would have kept it as Kodagumo to sort of fit with like, oh yeah, we have Kodagumo, Kumeyori, Tobi Mune, all of those various things, and of course the two swords we don't know, the Magatsumi, and then Enten, which of course follows like a different like it's a different amount of syllables in it, so it's like it changes the whole game up a little bit. But
Yeah, well, and also like they all, like trying to translate them into like English is kind of hard because like I mean, blades like Tobi Mune are pretty easy. The first kanji Tobi Mu, to fly, to soar, flying, and then the second one means like faith, sect, or religion, stuff like that. So it's
you
pretty
also
easy.
like if you name a blade like Flying Religion, like yeah, it's cool, but Tobi Mune just sounds cooler, And
Right,
Cloud Gouger is one of those where it was just like so effortless to do. Like yeah,
But
Cloud
that's
Gouger.
also
It's obviously a sword that gouges out somebody with like clouds and weather-based powers. It
and that's
extremely
also like
works.
one of those things that's like Tobi Mune is one of those. That's why I like it. English language is super cool when you translate because like you can, flying religion, whatever, it sounds okay, I guess, but you can change the words around to make it mean the same thing, to say something that sounds way cooler.
Exactly.
Soaring faith. Boom. There you go. And then there's like, I don't know, Kumeyuri is a really hard one though. I haven't been able to come up with like a really good interpretation of that because it's like the closest I think I can get is like shakily poured sake. Basically, is what.
How do you turn that into a good name for a sword?
You just keep it Japanese because it sounds way cooler.
Exactly. So
you know what I mean. Magatsumi though, I don't know. I feel like that one would fit pretty well. Like curved sin. I feel like you could pull that off.
Yeah, or like weight. Yeah, it's you can do a lot with that, which is definitely pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like Hokazono, he's really good at naming things, and that's why.
Translation aside, the whole idea now is that like Shiba just tells Chihiro all the various stuff, like, hey, after war, your father like tried to destroy the blades, but he couldn't. He made the swords pretty much too well at the end of the day. He's like, hey, for nearly 15 years, like he struggled into darkness, knowing all of the wrath and destruction he called, and of course, like he gave the Magatsumi to his best friend apparently, and like that has to like treat this man super super poorly. But then he had a small light that helped him continue to go, and that was of course his son Chihiro.
He was his guiding light, an illuminating path forward. That line. And I love Chihiro's face. Like, you can just see the emotion in his face when he hears that coming from Shiba.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, Shiba, I love how Shiba is basically, like, he's not really attempting to take over the role of Chihiro's father, but he kind of is, in a way.
He's sort of just like that big mentor figure. Like, he's not
doing
his father.
Really good job.
But he's sort of mentoring through all this hardship, telling him what he needs to hear when he needs to hear it, and But at the same time, it's not like he's telling a lie or like any white lies just to make anything easier. He's being brutally honest with the kid.
Yeah, he understands that he can't stop Chihiro from his mission, but I think he's slowly trying to guide Chihiro towards instead of completing his mission for revenge. I think he's trying to guide him towards completing his mission for peace and prosperity, and trying to actually help people. He's giving Chihiro all of the right reasons to be a killer. You know what I mean?
Precisely.
Which is, it's funny to say it that way.
It is pretty much like, yeah, he's pretty much telling him how to be a bad guy for good reasons. And we of course understand that he's being a good guy for good reasons. Like, we know how Chihiro feels about this. We know how the series works, but just that phrasing does sort of make it a little bit misconstrued. But
Right, and like, this is a bit of a hot take, but I guess everyone's gonna get my opinion on it. Personally, I think in protection of good and in defense of evil, I think that that murder is justifiable in certain circumstances.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I think in
it's
this
one of those things that,
situation,
as you said, it is like a big hot button debate on whether or not what you think about all of that, and
right?
it's one of those
No,
things where in a lot of anime and manga, it is a very glorified thing of being that sort of person, and
I do like the approach that Kagurabachi's taking, though, because it's not necessarily glorified. Like, Chihiro is very aware that he's going to hell. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, that he has made
he's
these bad decisions, and he has to sit here and rectify all that here in a moment.
yes, exactly. And so, like, his whole goal is to protect the world from the blight of these enchanted blades. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's slowly starting to realize that vengeance isn't a viable quest. And I love this. I love this shift in him. He's slowly building up a following of people that he loves and cares for. And so he's slowly starting to change his ways. He's not fighting to get vengeance anymore. As much as he probably say he is, it's not for revenge anymore. It's to protect the love that he has built. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure.
And I love this tonal shift in character for Chihiro. It's very emotional. Like, honestly, thinking it, like, Kagurabachi is probably one of the first manga that's ever made me like consistently shed tears. Like, back during the Iori flashbacks, I was bawling my eyes out like a little bitch. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Hokazono is so good at what he does. He's fuck. That's all I can say is fuck.
And I like how Kunishige even adds on the fact of like, yeah, you were his guiding light, illuminating a path forward, and Enten was that path. So Chihiro was the one that made Kunishige realize that he could do something. He could forge a blade, do the one thing that he knew how to do, in order to sort of destroy all of the other blades in that way of like, yeah, the way that you were the light, lighting up the path of how Kunishige could view that he could redeem himself was by creating this blade that he could then use to wipe away all of the sin that he has already made. Of course, he's still going to carry that with him, but alleviate it. It's so cool, man. Such well written, and it does just really hit me. I mean, the first time I read this chapter, the whole idea of like, yeah, pretty cool. It's neat. And then she was like, and yeah, you use the Enten to destroy Cloud Gouger. Like, sure, Sojo wasn't like the most prolific guy with the sword, but it was also, you just did a good job, and you used your blade how you should have in the moment. And it really just has that whole idea of like, Enten was forged for this reason, and you are finally realizing that.
Absolutely. Well, and so I love this little. I love it. I love seeing the little darker gray panels because they're flashback scenes. And I love this scene of Kunishige like essentially drawing Enten. I'm almost positive that because you remember the scene where Kunishige slices through the tatami mat and he's telling Chihiro like we have to have principles and accountability. At first in that first scene, he says, if you see this sword, Chihiro, there's more like it in the basement. And Chihiro goes, katana used during the war. And Kunishige goes, yeah, something like that. So I'm pretty sure in that scene, he was literally using Enten to cut the tatami mat. But
and it's probably one of those things where Chihiro didn't realize that he was also just forging an enchanted blade at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure Kunishige could have easily made it sort of just seem like, oh yeah, Chihiro, I'm just teaching you the family business and making all of these swords. And of course, in those initial few chapters, he had the whole idea of like, it's one thing to make a sword, but it's another thing to then sell that sword and get money for it when you know it'll go around and it could possibly take somebody's life. Like,
Right, exactly. Well, I love this little flashback panel where he goes, "We need to have principles of accountability," and then Chihiro thinks to himself, "The weight of malediction must have been that heavy." Like, that's. Can you imagine being Kunishige and just knowing that your best friend took 200,000 lives in the span of a single night? Oh my god! With a sword that you made?
yeah.
Oh, you know, honestly, like, I think most sane people would probably contemplate suicide. I'm not going to use that word, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, then we're just at the end of the chapter with like the biggest reveal of them all, pretty much.
That Enten can basically copy another Enchanted Blade's abilities. Like, it can literally copy them with Akka, but through sheer spirit energy manipulation, it can essentially copy the abilities of other Enchanted Blades. I bet you, how much you want to bet that Nishiki can somehow act like Banquet?
That's what you got from this?
No, that was just a joke, but still,
I
love the like.
That's not how I read it at all.
I love how he basically copied Crow here with his Kuro.
To be honest, I didn't even pick up on that until like just here a few minutes ago. I mean, mainly I was just like, oh yeah, Chihiro's just like finally figured out his true realm of his blade, and like going through that he's got the power to destroy all of the other ones pretty much. And, like, this is the true end game of Kagurabachi, is him figuring out how to go through and slay all of these other blades and stuff. To be honest, I didn't even pick up the fact that he was copying Crow here in this moment. It makes sense though. The goldfish goes into his hand. I mean,
yeah, that's literally exactly what.
Yeah, Crow does. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then
I just have bad media literacy sometimes. I'll admit it.
It's okay. So do I. Actually, no. Media literacy is the only thing I'm doing.
I have it occasionally, and then the other like occasional part of the time, I'm just bad at it. I can admit it to myself.
So the other thing, kind of back on translations here, him being able to kind of copy the abilities of the other Enchanted Blade makes sense a little bit, not only because it's specifically stated that Kunishige didn't specifically choose their powers, but also because of the name of what Enten literally stands for as a blade. So the first kanji, En, generally in Japanese means fire or flame. And if you look at one of Hokazono's previous one-shots, Enten, that's the version of En that he uses. But in this circumstance, it means heaven's deep pool, or not heavenly, it means like abyss, deep pool, deep water pool, something along those lines. Like it makes sense why there's water droplets that come off the sword.
Yeah.
Because it literally means something along the lines of heaven's abyss, deep pool of heaven, heaven's deep waters, stuff like that. So like, Enten basically lives in the heaven's abyss, which, if you think about it, makes sense as to why it can kind of tap into the other blade's abilities, because Gattenseki means drop of heaven stone.
Oh, okay.
Right. You see what I mean? Like, when you know how to speak some Japanese, bro, like Hokazono's manga becomes so much cooler. I love it. It just makes sense. Like, Enten is the closest blade to heaven, essentially.
And then then influences the other things that are made out of parts of heaven, which are the Enchanted Blades.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm almost positive that my theory is pretty correct here.
Yeah, Kagurabachi chapter was insane.
Yep, I think it tracks. I think it tracks for sure.
Especially after we had to wait 2 weeks for it, also because of the break that Hokazono had. It just
No, yeah.
No, we didn't wait
That's
2 weeks for this. Did we wait 2 weeks
Yeah,
for
we
this
did.
chapter?
Yeah, we waited 2 weeks for this chapter. No, we waited 2 weeks for the last one.
I was about to say, I forget what chapter was which, to be honest with you.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's why I was like, last chapter, I was like, yeah, it turns out we didn't have to wait 2 weeks because he was sick. We just had to wait 2 weeks because he was off a sick one, drawing a sick ass chapter.
No, we waited 2 weeks for 83.
Yeah. Oh, for this one.
Yes, for this
Oh,
chapter right now, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
And this was the sick one.
Yes,
So I'll admit,
yes.
It was pretty cool.
Hokazono was off of a sick one when he wrote this chapter, for sure.
Yeah.
And have we been going for an hour and 40 minutes?
No, it's just we didn't get started until really, really late. My recording says I'm gonna be going for like an hour and 10. So.
Okay. Damn, I was looking at my clock. I was like, already 7:40. I was like, roommates leaving for work. What's going on here?
No, that was just my fault.
Nah, hey, screw it. It's okay. We both had stuff we needed to get ready.
I woke up late and needed to eat my breakfast before we got started, and that made us start late. I'll admit it. It's my fault.
Screw it.
Yeah, really good chapter of Kagurabachi. Absolutely loved it, and I just can't wait to see what we get next time. I mean, do we?
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to stay with Chihiro and Samura and this whole idea.
We better. I mean,
and the question is, how many chapters until Toby Moon is broken?
I think it breaks this coming chapter. I think tonight when the leaks drop, I get to see a break.
Really?
Yep. I think I get to see Toby Moon break tonight. I think you get to see it break on Sunday.
Okay. That's pretty interesting way to think about that. I think we got 2 chapters.
You think we got 2 chapters?
I think next week we see I'm going to say we see this crack start to form, but not like the crack start to form as in it's breaking, but like everything getting sort of torn down. And Samura knows he's about to lose this blade and everything. I don't think we're getting it next chapter, but we easily could.
I'm calling it now. Tonight when the leaks drop, I'm calling it now. We don't get to see, both of us are wrong. Yora off-screens the Kamunabi headquarters, shows up with the Shinuchi, kills Samura. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Yep.
I swear, if that's right, this fandom is about to explode.
Dude, no, if I'm right, I might just quit. I might just quit. Because that's wrong. No way that would ever happen, but it would be funny.
I also have to say, I wonder how. I mean, we all know that Samura has had death flags since the beginning. But if his blade gets broken here, Chihiro's not going to kill him. So my question is, who is going to be the person who comes in and backstabs Samura in his final moments?
Well, I bet you it's probably going to be, like, a few of the Ishaku members. And the reason I say that is because Yura himself, when he fought Chihiro with broken Kurigumo, said something along the lines of, is it because it's broken? Maybe it's because you're new to it. It's probably both. I think Yura would probably be a lot more confident in a fight against Samura with a broken Toby Mune.
You know, here's my prediction for the next 2 chapters of Kagurabachi. We see Enten and Toby Mune go back and forth Chihiro Samura. I'm not going to say like all the events that happen, but we see that Toby Mune gets broken, right? And we have the whole idea of Chihiro being like, hey, see, I have the power to do this. I'm showing you here in a moment, Samura. Let me help you still do your mission, but we'll do it with this blade instead of yours, pretty much, right? And all of this goes through, and eventually at the end of the day, whenever Samura's like, you know what, I'll join you, I'll help you, we see the Lady Hishaku who helped kill Rokuhira come in at the end of the day and stab Samura straight through.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Or Samura lives, and we get to see Samura and the Swordmaster face each other with regular swords, and the Swordmaster fucking speed blitzes and one-shots Samura.
See, I would love to see that. I just feel like after so much has been built up on Samura's character and like
they've been building up his fight with the Sword Saint for so long now. They almost have to fight.
But also, so many of us were thinking that Samura was going to be dying like chapter 70. Like, we didn't think he had long after that whole idea. And of course, Samura's lived past that. He's been a much more developed character since then. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see him continue. I'd love to see him sort of get redeemed in all of these ways. But I just don't feel like that's going to happen. Now, one final thing I want to talk about as a theory. I saw somebody online, I forget who it was somebody in the Twitter community. My bad, I'm sorry. But I saw them say that Chihiro is going to go through, destroy Tobimune, and then use an Akasuzaku to repair Tobimune. So Samura still has a blade, but it's not with the eternal contracts and all of that anymore. I don't know if that tracks, but it almost seems like a little bit of a cop-out if it does.
Okay, I can see him Akasuzakuing the blade to repair the blade, but I can't see the eternal contract being destroyed unless the blade is destroyed.
It's also just one of those weird things where it's like, yeah, you kill the person, that breaks their eternal contract, but then the blade also breaking off of the whole like sword core. It's one of those things where I know it's just a theory. I saw them like, okay, I can definitely see how that makes sense, but I don't know if it does either. Or maybe he can repair it and it's no longer contracted to Samura or something. So what it does is they use it as bait here later on or something. I don't know. It's just some other theory I saw.
Right. I mean, he did specifically state that when he broke Kagurabachi, that the contract with Sojo was broken even before Sojo died.
Did he?
So, yeah, that was specifically stated, I think, at some point.
But either way, my running theory is going to be that we start to see Samura begin to get redeemed. And of course, I mean, we know the Hishaku members. We know it's not Yoro. We know it's not the Hatshaku. We know it's not Samurai Shaku guy. We know where Hirohiko, Kogiri, and Toto are. I'm pretty sure that they are done for this arc. We're not going to see Kogiri come and be the one who's going to do that final blow. We know that the three of them
won't even see Nico anymore either.
Yeah, we know the three of them are running away, which leaves us that we know the guy who's normally with Hirohiko, that tall guy with the worst genus, I think is what you call him.
Worst genus, because he's got the worst outfit in any manga ever made.
Yeah, we know the Lady Hishaku, and then by my calculations, we have 3 other Hishaku who we don't have designs for yet, right?
Yep, that would be 3 more. That would leave 3 more Hishaku.
No, wait a second. We have
2.
Yeah, 2, because we have the 3 at the Kamunabi Headquarters currently, the 3 who are here at the Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel, Lady Hishaku, and Tall Guy. So yeah, we have 2 other unseen designs that we could easily get a spot filled here, or I think it'd be more impactful if Chihiro was like, oh man, I now see this person who killed my father, and after I just realized all this power, and then he may get humbled here or something. I don't know. I don't think Samura's... As we said before, most of us have been like, oh yeah, Samura's not making it to this chapter. I don't think he's making it beyond chapter like 80, 88. I think
he's definitely going to die this arc, for sure. It's the Sword Bearer assassination arc. Samura's going to die.
And I mean, out of the 2 sword bearers we've met so far, Aruha was always the one who I wanted to survive till the end anyway. And now that we know that he's all well and good, he got revived and all of that, I'm happy to see Samura sort of bite the big one for this, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe, and here's the same thing, at the end of the day, we can always have the moment where Chihiro is able to grab the broken Tobimune, and then he has like 2 uses of Suzaku left before it's broken, you know? I mean...
Yeah, he's probably gonna break Tobimune and course correct it the same way he did with Kagurabachi.
Yeah, and like, hey, I'll lift some of the weight off this sword that is spared, but That's all of my thoughts. I don't want to give any more theories or anything. I don't have any more right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for all we know is that Chihiro, whatever the case, he's committed to taking it on.
Exactly.
And I think that's a perfect perfect time to end the episode, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. Thank you for having me on like normal. It's always fun to talk about Kagurabachi.
Yeah,
especially when we have a chapter called The Enten.
Right. This is like, it's so unfortunate that Cal and Edo couldn't make it today because this was like the chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think from what we got told, Cal will be able to make it next week, and Edo should be here next week, hopefully.
Yes. Hopefully he's okay. I haven't talked to him in a couple days, but yeah, should, with everything going on overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said something about a missile literally hitting his backyard, something like that. So
yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
Extremely
terrifying times we live in. But
yeah,
well, anyone who's listening today, if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and check out Glowplasma on YouTube. There's a lot of Kagurabachi stuff and a lot of other manga and anime stuff.
I find it funny you say that. I haven't even made my Kagurabachi video on this chapter before we're talking about it, like 4 days after this chapter came out. Like, I'm slacking here. What am I doing?
Nah, who cares? And
I
she's
do.
not here, right? She's not here, right? But Calcan 7, go ahead and check out her on YouTube. She's the Kagurabachi girl of YouTube, and good for her. Good looks for Edo, who's not here today, but pray for him. And thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks everybody who made it to the end of the video. My name's Karasu. I'd like to also give a thanks to Mikey, my editor, and big shout outs to Glowplasma and Calcan 7. Go ahead and go check out their channels. They do a lot of Kagurabachi stuff that's really cool. And big thanks to my friend Edo Serafino from Italy. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Till next time.